Okay, welcome back. So this phone fell down, an iPhone X, and the screen went black. So this is a simple solution. Okay, it can be one of two things. The ribbon that connects the screen to the motherboard could have jumped out if the restraint is not there, or it could be the screen that is gone. In our case, it was a screen scenario. So let me show you how to replace the screen. First, you'll have to get rid of these screws. I have already done that. And then the next thing is apply heat. Heat sort of makes the adhesive used to bond this to be able to loosen up, and that should allow you to do that, but you have to do it while it's at around 120 degrees Celsius. So you need a controlled source of heat because you really do not want to damage the internals of the phone. Anyway, that said, let me get in between and pry it apart. So I'm just showing you this to show you how it would happen. After prying it apart, you flip it to the left of the phone. Now there are three things that I need to show you. One is there is this connector, which most people might forget, not connector but restraint, which most people tend to forget to place. Now this holds down the fibers tight into the motherboard, so that's why in our case it wasn't that. So anyway, there's usually a screw there, and there. You release those and they should come out. And now before you do anything in terms of replacing the screen, what you need to do is first disconnect the battery, and if you count from the bottom 1 2 3, that's the third connector. Disconnect the battery because you do not want any piece of metal to fall into the board while it is powered up. That is disastrous anyways. Now we need to remove the old screen. That means we disconnect this goes to the LCD layer, and that goes to the touch layer of the screen. However, since the front speaker system is mounted onto the phone, we will need to transplant this onto our replacement screen. We shall also unplug that. So you're going to count one, okay, if from the fiber 1 2, that's the connector we are interested in. And be careful, try with the non-conductive material. I know the phone is off, but still it's just safe to do things that way. Anyway, now the old screen is out, so we are interested in moving this assembly onto our replacement screen. Now this sticker here is a warranty sticker they normally give me by the seller, but then I know my first test before I buy, so this won't help me. I just have to remove it. No need for that. Now the next thing is we transplant that. Okay, and that having been said, there is a screw there, I think 2 screws. So we get to open the first one, and that's out. Then go for the second one, that's out. Always exercise extra care. Be careful. There's usually some adhesive and ribbons you don't want to tear here. Okay, luckily for me it's a little loose. So that's what we need from the old screen. This loudspeaker system for the earpiece, the proximity sensor, and yeah, the antennas. So now we bring this and plant it here, but first we need to remove this. This is just a protective membrane right here. It's non-functional. It's just to protect this screen while it is on the shelf. So we get that off, and that also off. It's not necessary, and that goes. Okay, so we bring this into place, laying it right there. I suppose we are okay right here. Are we? Let me just compare a bit. These things are sort of self-intuitive, so always be polite to consult the old screen. It will guide you in what next. So yeah, it's the perfect alignment. That done. I will now bring back my 2 screws. The first one right there, and for some reason Apple chooses to use very different types of screws, which means you have to invest in different types of screwdriver tips. What you would successfully use on an S6, S7, S8, you cannot use it on the S7. On the iPhone 6, 7 and 8, you will not be able to use it on the X because the X has a different kind of screw inside. Now we have transplanted that, so the next thing is to place it on the frame and place back this restraint. Now we are going to do just that, and remember our battery is disconnected, and that's to ensure that we are working with a phone that is powered down. Now, so those are some of the precautions you need to take if you're going to avoid stupid errors that could actually cost you an entire device, because these motherboards are a bit sensitive to any sort of charge that has been discharged to the wrong components. Now, next thing, I'm also going to plug in the front assembly. Okay, I need to plug that ribbon back in. Okay, that's intact, and be careful not to tear the ribbons, because that would mean buying an extra part, and they never cheap. So plug this in. Now the next thing is, never be lazy to put back this restraint. I see it a lot on screens that have been replaced for iPhones. This is normally cause the phone's screen to disconnect from the socket if impact is felt. So this is supposed to restrain it down. Now I need to find my screws and put them back to hold this in place. Okay. Oh, by the way, hit the subscribe button and share with someone who might be interested in doing these electronic repairs. Okay, the first screw is in. Now the idea is to first distribute to the far ends of the phone. I should have tested the screen before putting this restraint, but I'm quite confident that I have plugged them in correctly, so I can proceed steadily without worry of having to go back a step behind. Okay, the screw is magnetized and they don't want to be separated, and they're quite tiny and quite easy to lose. Okay, so we are distributing it all over the restraint. Now that's that, and then we bring the last one into play. Okay, doesn't actually go there, it goes here. So now the next thing is, when we are putting it back into the frame, we put the front side in first and then the back side in. But before I snap it in place, because it's a bit tiresome to take apart again, let me just power it on just to confirm that everything is connected. Okay, so the light Apple logo jumps up, and we wait for it to boot up entirely. So wait for it for a moment, but I think I can still proceed to close it, because this is confident enough that we have been systematic. I don't think there's anything that has been forgotten, but now that we are up, just test the dial pad. That's to help me test the touch. Okay, that's fine. So let me now seal it shut. Now there's a hook at the front, and I think Apple makes it a bit easy to open and close their screens, except for the X. They decided to use adhesive on the frame. I think the X is supposed to be watertight, but of course after screen replacement that function can't be restored, because waterproofness is supposed to be tested industrially. So don't go dipping your phone in water after screen replacement. Now I get to put the last screws that hold and lock the screen into place. Let me come back. Okay, so it uses these very tiny screws, quite easy to misplace. Always have them held down onto a magnet, and for some reason they are uniquely Apple, and if you went to buy them you might spend almost 10,000 on just these screws. Okay, so that clamps it in place, and thanks for watching. Phone lookout, share and subscribe.